All right. What is going on? Monday Night Football. Falcons, Eagles. Let's hear your Monday Night Miracles in the chat. I got a couple Monday Night Miracles myself. What's going on?
We forgot to pull up the streamer mode.
Oh, well, did we have any questions that we needed to break down?
I think there was one here.
You could start it like immediately if you want.
Yeah. I'll do that now. Fuck. As long as it's within a minute, we're good. Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead and start it.
It's not letting me actually do it now. Okay.
Okay, don't worry about it. We'll answer the question maybe separately without being in streamer.
At least it's a trade question in Dynasty, so it's not actually pertinent to tonight. So we can just do that off camera then. Okay. Sorry. If we're good.
Danny just absolutely butchering the intro, but we torched in the first place. Anyway, so Brad Go Crazy was the first one in here. He goes, would you do Dobbins and Ayuk for Jamar and Javonte Williams after the news of the Debo injury and a full PPR double flex, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back? Dobbins and Ayuk for Javonte and Jamar. So Javonte is like unstartable at this point. At least Dobbins, you're getting RB2 production. I mean, he's RB5 in fantasy right now. And then Ayuk versus Chase, like as crazy as it sounds, how different are they right now with Debo out and with McCaffrey out?
In a 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, I mean, like this is almost like even if you're super bullish on Dobbins.
Double flex too.
I just think you can get more.
I'd take Dobbins and
after the week.
Man. I think I would take Dobbins and Ayuk.
But the problem is Dobbins a starter for you?
Yeah, I would imagine he is for a lot of people.
No, I get that, but I'm saying in this guy's specific team, is he a starter, or do you have
Javonte a starter? Would be my actual question.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But the problem that I have is if Jamar goes out next week, puts up 8 catches for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns.
What
you're
if
not going to be feeling great? He could, but like I'm like what I'm saying is you're not going to feel good about it.
This might be a hot take, dude, but I don't see a huge difference between Ayuk and Jamar rest of the season.
If Debo's out 2 weeks, there's a difference. If Debo's out 4 to 6 weeks, I think you can make the argument.
Well, I mean, McCaffrey's out for at least like 5 to 10 games too, though.
No,
Ayuk hasn't been good. Like, I get it. Ayuk has not been good so far, but he's going to bounce back.
I love Ayuk. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, again, like if you're desperate for running back production, I think this is a fine pivot to do because, like you said, like Ayuk should still eat without Debo in the lineup. But like if you're good at running back, I would just wait for another time to sell Chase. Honestly,
I think this is the time to sell Dobbins, or I guess you're acquiring Dobbins here, unless you're the one. He might actually be the one selling Dobbins here for Chase. But
I mean, okay,
if you're going to do this for Chase, if you got a better piece than Javonte Williams back, I would be fine doing it. If that answers your question.
Yeah, like what if you have like Bryce Hall and Alvin Kamara as your top 2 running backs? You're selling Dobbins and Ayuk to get Jamar and Javonte.
Oh, for sure. But like, I would rather like just get somebody better than Javonte Williams, to be honest.
Oh, fair. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. If you could get somebody like they have Brian Robinson or something, like I would rather do that.
The problem is like, I think Brian Robinson, like I agree that Dobbins would have higher value than B-Rob, but at the same time, I don't think somebody would view B-Rob to Dobbins as a significant.
Okay, well, let's say somebody who's not like coming off of like a bunch of monster weeks, potentially, like Rashad White or something. Like if you could get Rashad White and Jamar Chase, that might work better.
I mean, I have Rashad. I would think you would need to get lower because I doubt somebody's going to give you a tier up from Ayuk to Chase without getting a significant tier up at running back. It would probably need to be something closer to like Jaylen Warren is what I'm.
Yeah, that's not good enough for me to do the trade. Then I would.
But that's what I mean. It would like need to be fair both sides. Yeah, I mean,
Pollard,
okay, that's Singletary's
Pollard or Singletary, maybe.
Singletary's fair. Singletary's fair.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's a good question though. Book, have Mason PPR trade Diggs and Dobbins for CMC. Call me crazy. I don't think I'm doing my rest of season rankings right now.
I have Dobbins ahead of CMC in my rest of season rankings. Which
I'm terrified about CMC.
Sentence if you told somebody that 2.5 weeks ago that I had Dobbins ahead of Christian fucking McCaffrey.
That sounds so fucked to contextualize out loud.
Here's the thing. Christian McCaffrey is missing a minimum of like 4 to 6 weeks.
Dude, and I've talked to you about it.
Like it's not long. Like you can't be without a top asset for that long.
I've talked to you about it, dude. The Niners have no incentive whatsoever to bring him down or to bring him back ahead of schedule. And in fact, I wouldn't be shocked, like I said, we are week 16 and CMC has not played a game all year. I think that's a possibility. Now, again, you could even make the case that you make the trade for CMC 1 week for week 17. He wins you the championship and ends up paying off anyways. But at the same time, it's like
not Diggs and Dobbins worth. Like,
you know what I mean, though. Like,
you trade Tank Dell for CMC, sure. Like one asset for him, but like you're not getting him for that because everyone knows what Christian McCaffrey is when he's on the field.
It's just such a difficult position. I do envy. I do empathize with the CMC drafters this year. I mean, we could have said, "Oh yeah, touch an age apex." Like we realized after last year,
we were never wrong last year. We were just early,
pretty much. No, we were
just early last year when we had Bijan RB1 because Bijan and Bryce are definitely better than Christian McCaffrey now.
You know what's funny too? Again, maybe not for you guys, but for me, like going through my running back rankings coming into the year. You know how many times I contemplated moving Bijan and Bryce ahead of CMC, but I stopped
so many times.
I stopped myself and I'm like, I can't.
On August 16th, I tweeted, I was like, if I had any balls, I would put Bryce Hall RB1.
Yeah, it was tactics, actually.
I was very close to doing. And here's the thing too, like if my home league, you know how my draft went, right? I was picking third overall. If McCaffrey had fallen to me and I had to decide between McCaffrey and Bryce Hall, I would have taken Bryce.
Yeah.
Like, and so for those of you guys that drafted Christian McCaffrey, like you probably didn't. If you were following our rankings, you probably didn't get McCaffrey because we had him 3 overall. So you probably got Lamb or Hill instead.
I mean, it worked out for me on Underdog. I have like 3% exposure to McCaffrey across all my drafts.
Of course, 3% the 1 year I'm just like absolutely loaded on McCaffrey exposure is the year that he gets hurt.
Dude, well, all of my exposure, because I had all late picks, and now I just have teams with like Marvin Harrison Jr. and fucking Jahmyr Gibbs, and I mixed in some 1-2s
to 106s, which is why I feel pretty good though, because I have a bunch of Bryce and Jefferson and St. Brown and those guys.
I started mixing in some HN at the 1-2 turn at the end of the year, and I feel so fucking good that I did. I feel
I should have done that more.
I had some Marvin HN starts. You know how fun that is? That's so unique.
Fun. Yeah, this is a fun team, bro. You just did the best ball bros
thing. So unique, brother.
Yeah, Danny Troll does bandana guy, elite content.
Oh, you guys are in
this
store.
Week's vlog is gonna be fun, man. This one's gonna be a fun one.
Carlos, I may or may not have went to the comment section of that video and taken like 13 screenshots for the editor to pop into that.
People are going to hate you.
They are going to hate me, and I fucking love it because the people that love me will love me. The people that hate me will hate me. There's nobody in the league that's going to be like, I am lukewarm on that Danny Ladd 21 fella.
No, you are not a lukewarm person.
No.
For sure. I feel like I'm in the lukewarm zone right now, and I need to get out of there. Beanie says trade Trey McBride and a piece for Najee and Bowers standard. Yeah, here's a real question. Would you rather have Trey McBride or Brock Bowers rest of the season?
I think you can make the case for them being tight end 1 and 2.
I think that's outrageous, and I would still rather have Laporta. So it's not outrageous. Sorry, let me just rephrase. I would still rather have Laporta and Kelsey. Both
standard, I think that's fair because of the touchdown equity of the Detroit and the KC offense. Let's just say this question was for.
We also haven't seen Pitts play a second game, and he had 100% route participation in his first. If Cousins looks functional, like it's possible that Pitts is tight end 1 rest of the season.
If Pitts crushes today, other than RB2, what is the hole in my flock league team?
Yeah, there's probably no hole on your team there. My biggest holes are fucking quarterback and tight end, and I have Mahomes and Kelsey.
By the way, for the record, you're gonna hate me for this. In PPR, I did actually move McBride and Bowers as 1 too. Dude, Bowers legitimately, if he keeps up this pace, will be known as the best tight end in the NFL after the season as a rookie.
Oh, 100%. One thing I will say though is with Debo out for a couple of games and McCaffrey out for a while,
Kittle has to be up there too.
Got to be up there as well.
Let's go through it right now. So I have Kittle at 6. Actually, it's impossible to say because we need to see Pitts tonight. I have Kittle at 6, Pitts at 5. We do need to see Pitts.
So what's the hang up on Laporta? Why are you so low on Laporta?
I like Laporta. What it comes down to for me is I actually believe in Jameson Williams being a worthy target in this offense. He's gotten great usage.
Right, but don't you think that eventually the ball is going to bounce Laporta's way? That's kind of where
I 100% do, but at the same time with McBride and with Bowers, their offenses are so concentrated to their top 2 targets with Marvin McBride, with Bowers and Adams. Kelsey, I'm a little bit more concerned because they have a lot of talented pass catchers now, and I'm not sure if he's the priority in terms of the
with
reads.
both Kelsey and Laporta, I would rather take a couple down weeks because they have other good targets and be the Chiefs and the Lions offense as opposed to the Raiders and the Cardinals and the Falcons or whatever other teams.
I totally get it. I think it's a tier 4 at this point, and it could end up being a tier 6 because obviously with the news with Debo and if Pitts does his thing tonight, I think it could be very well a fluid tier of 6. The only thing that sucks is if you were the Kincaid drafter pretty much at this point, and Andrews.
Yeah, like, so as far as Beanie Weenie's question here, Trey McBride for Najee and Bowers, or Trey McBride plus a piece or whatever, I'd be fine doing it depending on what the piece is. But I actually would still prefer Trey McBride over Bowers, at least for the time being.
See, actually, now that I think about it, the issue in standard specifically is in standard, that's where I want to prioritize the better offenses because I want the touchdown equity. And with Trey McBride, again, the way he scored this week was complete bullshit. I'm not going to lie. Like, there was a fumble in the end zone and you just fucking hopped on it and you got an extra 6 points for it. You take that every single time. But at the same time, it's like, how sustainable is that moving forward? But what is sustainable is like another takeaway we probably could have talked about today. Kyler Murray looks fantastic. Like Kyler Murray looks great.
We didn't even actually talk about that game at all because it was just a shit stomping of
we
the
just
Rams.
mentioned Marv.
The Rams are just like dead now because Cooper Kupp is on IR and fucking Puka Nacua is out for a while. Like, this is brutal.
So, it's gonna sound crazy again. I'm just gonna say this offhand again. I hope Tua is fully healthy, but if the scenario was that, let's just say Tua ended up retiring, stepping away from the game, what if Stafford was the one that went to Miami, like he went from the Lions to the Rams? Because I can see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Tua's retiring, but yeah, that would be pretty
if that happened. Because the way I'm thinking about it is, if you're the Rams, dude, like your receivers are hurt, your quarterback is old, he's probably never going to have higher value than this season at this point. I mean, what if they go out there, have like a top 5 pick because their entire offense is depleted now?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too, if they trade Stafford, then Kupp will probably get traded as well.
Yeah. Which again, like this would be the best time to do it, especially if Kupp comes back from the injury, has like a good bounce back to the year, because you're never going to get the same amount of value from those guys as you are.
Well,
now.
Yeah. Like how much would the Jets pay for Kupp or like some team that like needs a second receiver?
Oh, fuck, I would take him. I would take him.
Yeah. Yeah. The Cowboys, I'm sure, would take him.
Nico
Hail the Nico Truthers. I have Nico and Rashee Rice as starters. Who do I put in my flex this week? Ayuk or Marvin Harrison? Brother, you have some good problems.
Oh
right
my
God.
Dude, those 4 receivers are insane.
Yeah, I would say, I guess Marvin Harrison, but like I love Ayuk still.
It's Ayuk versus the Cardinals or Marv versus the Niners. That's what I'm between right now. I probably go with Ayuk.
I guess Ayuk is probably the better matchup on that side, but I'm also more worried about their offense than I am about Arizona's right now.
My mistake. It's Rams versus Niners. I thought it was Cardinals versus Niners.
Okay, well the Rams and Niners might be an interesting one because the Rams are totally a tire fire operation without their receivers.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly. So we'll get through these supers. Casey, also a $1.99 sticker as well. I'll try to find the comment for you. It's from Casey.
Right here. I have Waddle, Kupp, Harrison, and Rice, PPR. Gibbs is RB1, Murray quarterback. I have no one at RB2. Chase Brown and Dowdle. Yeah, welcome to the club with the Chase Brown and Dowdle RB2.
That's a dynamic duo, baby. Chase Brown and Dowdle.
That was me in my home league until J.K. Dobbins decided to be a league winner, and then that's you in the flock league right now.
No, some sharp guy told me they can handle my early season carries. I don't know.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. What do I do? I mean, Casey, if you have depth options at wide receiver, you can make moves still. Like Chase Brown and Dowdle, unfortunately, have absolutely no tradability right now, so you're not going to be able to trade
fine
them.
Plugging Dowdle in my lineup as the weakest link, to be honest. Like,
yeah, until you get up to speed and maybe you pick up some waiver guys that are better, like, but go after the like Kareem Hunt or fucking whoever else on the waiver wire, Damian Pierce, or Cam Akers, Carson Steele this week. If you don't get those guys, then see what you can do with your bench wide receivers and potentially you can trade to upgrade. But Dowdle is the only weak point in your roster right now. Is not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I will talk about that too. Dowdle had 14 opportunities, 13 touches in this game, and against the Saints, and he got the receiving role on this team. The Cowboys Ravens this week is an implied 49.5 over under right now. I'm telling you right now, with the Cowboys being injured at receiver, Cooks, I don't know if Cooks is fully 100%. I know he got banged up in that Browns game a little bit. Didn't really look like his full self in the Saints game. We'll see
Ferguson
who he
might be
does.
back. He almost played.
Ferguson may be back. He at the very least is going to be questionable. Tolbert looked good, but at the same time, it's like if you're getting the intermediate targets from this offense, that is probably going to be throwing the ball a ton in a game against the Ravens. That'll probably be the Ravens defense doesn't really impress me at all. I can see that game being a 31-28 type of game.
What the hell is a Hunter Lupke?
He's our fullback.
What the hell is a Hunter Lupke?
So the way what you're gonna remember him for is you remember the fullback that fumbled on the 1 yard line against the Dolphins?
Yeah.
That was him. But he actually is a good fullback. I'm not gonna lie. Like he can actually play. It's just you don't want to give him fucking carries.
Fair enough.
North Dakota State.
True. Half PPR up 8. Have London against Barkley and Goddard. Barkley could go crazy in this one.
Half PPR. Okay, so half PPR London. Let's just say on average he gets his underdog lines at 56.5 right now. Maybe that's on 4 catches. He has a fantasy points higher or lower probably. Right. Good point. I forgot about the fantasy points. I was thinking about the over under or the higher lower on the receiving yards because I actually took the higher on the receiving yards today.
Yeah. Shout out Underdog. Obviously 10% profit boost today, but if we want to look at Drake London's higher or lower on his fantasy points, it is 11.55. So if you got 11.55 fantasy points out of him, you'd be up 19.5 points.
Barkley's probably at like 16.5.
Saquon Barkley is at 16.5. Yep, precisely. And then Dallas Goedert, I'm sure, is probably at more
5 or 6.
8.15.
8's high.
On that. Yeah, maybe take the lower on that. But anyways, I do think that you probably have like a 30% chance, most likely. I think Barkley could go a little nuclear in this game, if I'm being 100% honest.
Hopefully he doesn't score 60 points is all I ask. Hopefully he doesn't score 60 points.
I don't think he's going to score 60 points.
You get the reference though. I'm up 48 on Badaki. Yeah. I have Pitts and he has Barkley and Darnell Mooney. So again, I should be okay. But again, he's got a great team. I think it's 100% chance he's going to make this comeback. Sometimes you just got to bow down to the superior opponent, right? Like it is what it is.
Yeah, I made a pick'em entry here. Let me just switch us around because I'm the one speaking here. We got a pick'em entry here with Devontae Smith, higher 5.5 receptions, no longer available. The pick'em is now at 6, and on most sports books, I think it was minus 140 or something when I took this. Higher Bijan Robinson touchdowns, also like minus 130, minus 140 on most sports books. Saquon Barkley higher than 17.5 receiving yards, also one that I like there. And then also lower than 22.5 rushing yards, Tyler Algier. Most sports books now down to like, I think it's 18.5 rushing yards is where Algier is at.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Not too bad. For me, again, I talked about it on the short today. If you guys aren't following the shorts, I actually post them for every slate. I did make these my 3 favorite plays over on Underdog, higher than 5.5 receptions. Bush made the same play. The usage that we saw last week, 71% of the snaps for Devontae Smith in the slot, no AJ Brown. As we know, the slot receiver position is a moneymaker, kingmaker in the Kellen Moore offense. Look at Keenan Allen, look at CeeDee Lamb. With no AJ Brown on the field and his near 35% target share in week 1, he went higher than this last week, and it's at 5.5 this week with no AJB. So it makes sense. Bijan Robinson higher than 15 rushing attempts. This is one of my favorite stats when I was actually looking into this game slate, but you actually talked about it in the matchups that matter, but this is a sneaky high-paced game environment between the Eagles and the Falcons this week. And when you look at last week, the Falcons had 50 offensive plays in that game against the Steelers, which was 31st in the NFL. That's the reason why Pickens, that's the reason why Pitts, that's the reason why London, that's the reason why this offense as a whole wasn't functioning, is that Kirk wasn't playing like himself when they were actually running their offense, and they just didn't get many opportunities. 50 offensive plays is like Stone Age level offense. So I do think in the faster paced game environment, we maybe see that closer to 60, 65 plays, and that'll contribute to more volume for Bijan, more receiving yards for Drake London, because I think both teams are going to be able to put up points in this game.
Yeah, I'm on the side of like I think the over under goes like under in this game,
really?
Which is why, and I actually just realized this. Spicy he actually fucked me up here. I had higher than 17.5 rushing attempts on my TikTok, not receiving yards for Saquon Barkley.
Damn.
That was what I told him to put in. So he actually fucked me here. But
Probably just cost 17.5.
If you look at it here, that's the one that was on my TikTok. That's the screenshot, 17.5 rushing attempts. And the reason I liked that is because I thought that the Eagles would win this game and cover the spread, and they would run the ball in the second half.
You know what I'm hoping happens now? The Saquon Barkley finishes with 17 rushing attempts, but gets 18 receiving yards.
That would be hilarious, actually. I also, for those of you guys that want a free cash one too, there is a Jalen Hurts bonus tonight. Let me pull this up if it's going to let me.
Yep,
new customers can add in this Jalen Hurts free pick if you guys are new customers. And like I said, to all existing customers, a 10% profit boost that you can use as well. So let's break down our supers here.
I was going to say, does Pitts show up today, boys? Hear me out. This is the Pitts breakout game. Listen to me right now. Just listen to me. Like I said, higher pace game environment than last week. Only 50 offensive plays last week, and Pitts scored 12 PPR points. I understand he had a touchdown in that game, but he played 95% of the offensive snaps. But the reason why this is Pitts breakout week, he's from Philadelphia, and his whole family is going to this game. It's already been reported. His whole family is going to go see
allowed to the tight end position. The Eagles were 22nd in the NFL last year too.
If you have Kyle Pitts, happy 7 for 123, 2 touchdowns tonight. That's what he's doing.
Kyle Pitts 2 touchdowns. Is that what you're recommending people put down on the?
He had one last week.
He did. What do we got from C Phil here? Full PPR. I'll be 0-2 after Monday Night Football. Tough scene. My running backs: Pacheco, Chase, Brown. I'm assuming. Spears, Benson. Not great.
Pacheco
Akers,
hurts.
Pierce, P. Ryan, Khalil Herbert, Williams, Jamal. I'm assuming. I mean, you are in a
health status of Pierce
here.
Or sorry, what's the health status of Spears? You said he had a low ankle sprain when we're doing the.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be okay, but he's not startable right now, and he needs starters.
So that's what I was going to say. Knowing that Spears is banged up, do you drop him instead of Benson?
Yeah, probably.
I think
I don't want to drop any of these guys. Like, I think honestly, dude, like, here's the tough thing, man. All of these guys, Chase, Spears, Benson, way higher upside plays than the guys that are available on the waiver wire. But at the same time, you need production at this point. But I also am not certain that Pierce is the guy, or Akers is the guy, or P. Ryan's the guy, or like it's not like you're getting, a locked and loaded like Jordan Mason's on the waiver wire or J.K. Dobbins on the waiver wire from last week. Like, you're not getting a guy like that. There's a chance that you roll snake eyes with Akers, for example. You pick up Akers, you spend 25 fat bucks on him, and Dameon Pierce is the starting running back, and Dario Gumawale is like the thing, and vice versa if you have Pierce.
I mean, that's the issue, but the problem
these are risky. It's a risky waiver ad week this week.
He's 0-2. He needs to go make a risk.
He does. That's what I'm saying. Like, you probably have to drop Spears and Benson and swing on some backfields here.
Benson is the one. Like, I would pick up one of them. The reason why I only pick one, because I agree all of these guys have risk. I would only drop Spears for one of them because you're using that, whoever that is, to fill into your lineup week 1, and everybody else is going to be on your bench anyways. Because guess what? You're not starting 3 of those running backs.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So, like, because you only have to start 2, you know that it's probably going to be but Pacheco's hurt now too. Can you put him on IR? Can you put Pacheco on IR?
Yeah, if you could put Pacheco on IR, that would help you a little bit. But if you have to drop 2 of these running backs, it's probably Spears and Benson. Even though I don't love Chase Brown right now, he at least has a chance to win his backfield out without an injury.
God, Phil, I am disgusted in your behalf right now. This is not fun.
No, this is not fun. King him.
I'll find it. 10-man league, Pacheco, Gibbs, and Chubb. Running back, Amon-Ra, Nico, Godwin's, Devontae. Holy fucking receiver core. Tight ends, Andrews and Pat Freiermuth. Made trades, Pacheco for Devontae. I mean, no, not the Nico for Ramondre. Please tell me you didn't do that. No, the first trade was so good. Why'd you have to ruin it with the second one?
I think
he's
listing his team. I think he has these guys. I think he inverted the side that he got.
I thought he made trades with the players.
Well, he's listing his team here: Pacheco, Gibbs, and Chubb, and then he's like, I made trades Pacheco for Devontae Adams. So I'm assuming he got Pacheco, and I'm assuming he got Nico.
I thought he traded them away.
I'm assuming he got Andrews, for example.
By the way,
Like I
Phil
think
says
that's
that Phil says that Pacheco can go IR. You put him on IR, you drop Spears, and you grab 2 of those productive running backs. So you have to start them this week. But going back to the question, sorry, King, let me know in the comments like what it is. Did you trade away the left side or the right side here? Because you listed the players in your team on the left side, but typically when you say I traded X for X, you're trading away the former rather than the latter.
yeah.
So let us know.
It's a little confusing for sure, but I think that's what he meant because he listed his team there.
Let
But
us know.
if that happened, that is extremely unfortunate that you just traded Adams for Pacheco.
Yeah. I mean, either way you slice it, whether it's Adams for Pacheco or Nico for Ramondre, it's a terrible
Let me
side.
ask you this: which trade would you prefer?
He traded Nico away. No.
Okay. Good news. You don't have Pacheco then. That's the glass
Good
half
news
full
there.
side of this trade. So you don't have Pacheco anymore and you got Devontae Adams for him. So you have a great receiver core at the very least. You can potentially sell somebody for a running
did the
back.
me and Mason trade without Waddle.
Pretty much, yeah.
Fuck.
I have Mixon, Javonte, a bench full of handcuffs at running back, CD, Nico, Marvin Harrison, DeMarcus Robinson at wide receiver. Do I trade Dobbins and Diggs for London? 10-team PPR.
10-team half PPR, absolutely.
He has Mixon, Javonte, and a bench full of handcuffs.
Oh,
you want to trade Dobbins away in that situation?
I didn't see the first part. I just saw 10-man half PPR. If you have Mixon hurt, then yeah, keep Dobbins.
Yeah, I think Dobbins and Diggs is probably where I would stick with. And
agree.
Call me crazy here, but like, if London has a bad game tonight, like,
yeah, there's no need to do this right now.
London's a conversation rest of the season.
There's no need to do this right now. That's kind of the thing. Also, I do have Diggs still lower. I would actually still take Tank over Diggs. Like, I do think Tank's gonna have his get right game. So
yeah, I don't disagree. But if London has 4 catches for 35 yards on 6 targets tonight, is Diggs versus London a conversation?
That doesn't have to do with London. I agree with you on the London aspect for sure.
Yeah,
I was just talking about Diggs versus Dell.
Yeah. Trade I have sent to him right now. Need your help. My Jordan Mason for Nico Collins. I'm light on wide receiver, but not desperate. I would rather have Nico Collins than Jordan Mason for sure, easily.
Oh, you got to pray that he accepts that. That is legendary for you if you can get that.
I'd be willing to give him another receiver on top of Jordan Mason for that.
100%. I gotta ask. So we're seeing a lot of like low ball deals for Nico Collins. Are people not adapted to the fact that this guy's at least a mid range wide receiver winner of the season?
He didn't say that this is going to get accepted. This might get laughed.
No, I know, but like for example, too, we also heard the Nico for Ramondre deal. Like I don't like. Are people viewing Nico as a sell high because of the too many mouths to feed, rather than he is the clear alpha and he deserves to be a mid-range wide receiver one or higher?
I don't know. You can yell at them if they do that.
Sorry, I'm not yelling. I'm just saying, is that like the common sentiment for a lot of people?
No, I don't think so. I think people recognize that Nico's the alpha there.
Okay. Just for the record, if you were thinking that it is Nico and it is everybody else on this offense, like Nico is the cream of the crop here. He is that guy. 6'4", 215-pound ball winner.
Yes, of course. My home league nuked a lad for Aaron Jones trade this weekend.
Yeah, that can't be vetoed.
First vetoed trade. I don't know why that would get vetoed, to be honest. I think Aaron Jones is probably my preference, but that should not get vetoed.
In a full PPR, I think you make the case for Lad too. Like, it's close.
Yeah, I mean, he's still running kind of like slot usage right now to start the season. And ironically, Quentin Johnston's running like most of the routes for the team and actually had 2 touchdowns. And he's a top 3 waiver ad for me. Spoiler alert for tomorrow.
Speaking of, so Corey, you remember when I auto drafted Geno Smith 60 picks ahead of ADP in that big dog? So I actually went through it. Again, it doesn't matter as much because it's a big dog and not a BBM. But because I got auto picked Geno Smith 100 instead of 160 where he goes, around the 160th pick, I used that on Quentin Johnston. So now I'm going to have a unique combo where if Quentin Johnston actually does hit this year, I have Geno and Quentin Johnston, whereas a lot of people are going to have Geno plus any 10th rounder. And I get it. Like, you would still take the 10th rounder on face value. But if Quentin Johnston actually pops off and is at least comparable, if not slightly worse than that 10th rounder, I'm going to be so unique to the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, you just contradicted yourself. You said it's a big dog, not a BBM, so it doesn't matter.
No.
So
once I advance,
doesn't matter as much either.
If I advance from the weeks 1 to 14,
I guess, but it's a big dog, not a BBM, so you don't need to be as unique.
Fair. But I mean, it's still going to be competitive weeks 15, 16, 17.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're trying to Galbrain your like 6th-round reach
Eh,
on Geno Smith, but I
yeah,
get it though.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The early signs in the team, I'm getting really excited looking at it, dude. Because I
Yeah,
showed
no,
you
it
it
looks like it's
off
fun.
camera. You know what? Actually, now that people are in the stream, I'll make it really quick because I know nobody cares about your fantasy teams, but I will show anybody that is actually curious what's going on here. So when we say big dog, you're probably like, well, what is big dog? Big dog's actually a tournament over on Underdog Fantasy. And this is the team that I'm rocking with right now. Shout out Mason. He's also in this draft as well. He's at the 4th overall spot. But we got CJ Stroud, Geno Smith as the main 2 quarterbacks. Like I said, I got auto pick Geno a little bit ahead of ADP, but if he hits and this offense hits, I got good investment. Cook, Mixon, Benson, Charbonnet, Dobbins, Marshawn Lloyd, Justice Hill, solid running back core overall, especially not having to take one in the first 3 or 4 rounds. Getting that type of core feels good. Wide receiver, Chase, Collins, Metcalf, Addison, Lockett, McMillan, and QJ. And then
Yeah,
tight
it's a
end,
good
again,
looking game for sure.
I need this fucking old fart, Travis Swift, to actually start doing something. That's the issue.
Yeah, Travis is kind of trolling you.
But yeah, again, I didn't want to spend too much time. We'll get back to your
My
question.
team is like my team, my running back core looks really good. My quarterback and tight end are trolling me as well. I mean, Mahomes and Goff have been awful, and Sam Laporta and Noah Fant, I think is my other tight end, have been useless.
Dude, the year of the elite tight end was not this year. Let's just say that for free.
Yeah, literally. What's your rest of season outlook for these options on my waiver wire? Shaheed, Quentin Johnston, Braylon Allen, and
Shaheed has
David
to be one.
Njoku. Shaheed?
Shaheed or Njoku missing time hurts him. I think Shaheed is the clear one here. I think Shaheed.
I didn't even consider him for the waiver video because I'm pretty sure he's got to be rostered like at a decent clip. But let me actually take a look at where his roster percentage comes in because I didn't even consider him for the waiver video.
Yep.
Yeah, he's 56% rostered. But yeah, if Shaheed is available on your waiver wire, I think he's probably an every week like boomer bust flex option. Like obviously he's had 2 boom games here, but if the offense is going to be able to support both him and Olave, then you can continue to throw him into your flex, I would say. So he's definitely the best option there. Quentin Johnston looked good and actually has like a 2.1 yards per route run on the season and a 25% target share, which is never something I thought I would say about Quentin Johnston. So he's actually a top 3 waiver ad for me this week over Braylon Allen.
So now I know where your the fab dollars are going in the flock league.
Not necessarily. Like I have a shit ton of receivers in that league. I'm not really worried about QJ in that league.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. No, literally. Well, I mean, tons of people don't actually.
The devs.
Yeah. Braylon Allen, I think he's just an elite handcuff, probably one of the best in fantasy. And then David Njoku, once he gets back on the field, I think he has a very high ceiling at tight end. So I would, if you can't IR him, obviously, like you said, but I'd be willing to hold Njoku for like 1, 2, 3 potentially weeks whenever he gets back on the field.
For sure. Okay, we got another. Actually, no, this is the Nico one again. Okay, keep going up.
Yeah, I got it. What's your most memorable rejected trade? I have a good answer for this. In our listener dynasty league, I don't know if you remember this, but I can't remember who this was, but I offered somebody Deebo Samuel and Josh Jacobs right before the 2021 season or the 2022 season where Josh Jacobs had the like eruption season where he was like the RB3 in points per game. Deebo was like a top 25 running back or something like that. For like, here, actually, let me pull it up because I don't actually remember the details of it. But all I remember is that Clowning Dion's was the person I tried to make the trade with, and I would have gotten fleeced on this deal.
There's a couple that I can think of off heart in terms of redraft, but I don't remember the dynasty ones off of hand.
Yeah. Can you click on someone's name and just like go to their thing? Oh, we actually had a trade in our listener dynasty league today that I have to process. Fletsky gets Samaje Perine, and Jordan Mason for a 26 second and third. That's a fucking pretty good deal for Flet getting Mason for that.
I literally clicked the process that like 5 hours ago. It didn't process.
Guess not.
All right. Nice fucking.
Anyways, I'm not going to find this deal, but all I know is that I was trying to give Josh Jacobs away for like free that year. Like I didn't want Jacobs at all, and he ended up being the RB3 in points per game.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Just lost Cup to IR. I have Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, and JSN and James Cook as my running backs. Should I make a move for a wide receiver or wait for Cup to come back? Harrison, Olave, and JSN is definitely good enough to get by. It would depend anything available. Like, I mean, Cook and Gibbs, like I'm not going to be willing to move off of those guys to get more wide receiver help because those guys are both really like top 8 options for me the rest of the season. So Yeah, it depends what's available for you, but I think Harrison, Olave, and JSN is just fine to go forward with.
For sure. By the way, I saw Spicy commented this a while ago. Let me try to find it. If I can't find it, then tough luck. But okay, now where was here? You can keep going. Where was Spicy's comment?
Okay. Ed says, I'm in a 2 wide receiver, 2 flex full PPR league, and I have CD, Marvin Harrison Jr., Nico Collins, Ayuk, JSN. Jesus, dude. Pickens and McConkey as my wide receivers. Need an RB2 and a tight end. Any buy low candidates you recommend packaging wide receivers for?
There's no need to trade on this team.
Yes, there is, because he has 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. And start 4
I thought it was 3. I thought it was 3 and 2. My bad.
Yeah,
okay,
JSN could be a guy that you could sell high on potentially after the week that he had. I don't think I would generally advise selling high on JSN because I think this is going to continue. But if you're able to like sell JSN for Kenneth Walker because he's banged up or something like that, you could.
You're going to need the package like for that. You can't do that straight up. 100%. Nobody's doing that.
Okay, well, a package involving JSN for Kenneth Walker as the pillars of it. I mean,
okay, say it costs a JSN
right now for like James Conner. Like you probably can't even get that.
That's what I mean. I don't think you can, especially in leagues that actually value running backs. I don't even think they would do JSN and McConkey. They'd probably ask for JSN and Pickens for Walker and a piece.
I think you're probably, to be honest, I think you're probably better off selling, like seeing if someone wants to buy low on Pickens or McConkey and just getting like a filler RB2 for them.
Hear me out. As crazy as it sounds, I think your best option might actually be going the CD Lamb for like Bryce Hall route.
Yeah, that's actually not an outrageous take either. Like you could also go like the Marvin Harrison for Jonathan Taylor route or something too.
I just think like any type of depth or like the RB2 area you're gonna want, which again I'm not just
prefer the wide receivers in that area.
So like you may as well do it at the lowest opportunity cost. That's why we said even in like the Yahoo, the ESPN, the what's the other platform? Sleeper. In those strategy videos, we said like it even Keel in the first round, we actually prefer building around the running back because like you're gonna have teams where just fucking wide receivers are stacked up like this. Obviously, again, it depends on your league market. If you're in a league market like the Flock League where everybody still loves wide receivers, then yeah, you can take a wide receiver. But in a lot of home leagues where like 13 running backs going in the top 25 picks, there's a difference, you know?
Also, like just general like fantasy take right now, the running back position's kind of like back for fantasy and the wide receiver position's kind of dust right now. And I think that's going to balance itself out. It's just because we've had this, what was it? The most historically low passing volume or passing touchdowns in week
touchdowns through 2 weeks, right? 66
yeah, it's like, and then passing. Week 2 was even worse. Like it's going to correct itself. Like we had 2 quarterbacks go over 20 fantasy points this week. 2.
Yeah, I believe that there's a stat that like this year, the first 2 weeks passing touchdowns was like 20 less than we've seen in a season like in the last 15 years.
Yeah, no,
20 less. Crazy. 20.
20. I know, that's a lot. That's a lot. Montgomery or JK rest of the season?
JK.
I have JK slightly higher, but Montgomery's still a really good option as well. Also thoughts on Calvin Ridley? Probably a good sell high candidate given how Will Levis has played so far, I would say.
Top 36 rest of the season, Calvin Ridley, yes or no?
Probably sneaks inside the top 36, but I think there's a chance that you could get a good tier up type of player for Calvin Ridley and another running back that you have or a wide receiver that you have.
I'm ready to throw you a hypothetical after I check the utilization, but I have a pretty hot take I think I want to make in a second if I can actually get the usage.
Would you, let me ask you this. There's a couple like underperforming wide receivers, for example. Would you rather have Calvin Ridley or Amari Cooper?
Dude, you know what's fucking crazy about that? I was literally just about to see Calvin Ridley's usage to say if I would take him over Amari Cooper or not.
That's
literally what I was referring to.
Pretty comfortably, to be honest.
I need to see the usage. That's where I'm at with it. Tennessee.
You could get Tank Dell for Calvin Ridley. How quickly are you hitting accept?
Oh, heartbeat. No, not even.
But like
close.
that might be a hot take for some people. You know
I would. I think Tank Dell's a wide receiver too. The rest of the season, I would. Again, not a hot take. Obviously, if you can and you have Diggs, you should want a plus on top because of how they've done. Like that's market value number one. But I would, if I had a gun to my head and I had to have one for the rest of the season, I would take Tank Dell over Stephon Diggs and sleep like a baby doing it.
Yeah, that's again. I wouldn't sleep like a baby doing it, but I would do it.
Also, I'd take Ridley over Cooper at this point.
I'm worried about I think they're
Browns,
basically the same type of projection,
except one's in my opinion,
I think
a better
one's
offense.
better. That's the difference.
I am just terrified of the Browns though, comparatively.
I'm
They're
pretty
both
terrified of
well
the
wide
Titans,
receiver
to be
threes.
honest.
For the record, they're both guys that have above a 24% target share that we're valuing as wide receiver threes, which is crazy to even contextualize. They're just like the new age fucking Deontay Johnsons.
They are, but for what it's worth, I mean, we thought the Titans were going to be like really pass heavy, and they definitely have been more pass heavy than they were.
Oh, they've
last year,
gone to
but,
the
like,
rock.
the Browns are like legit, like the most pass heavy team in the league right now, or one of them.
They're just kind of urine. I mean, like at this
They
point,
are
okay.
urine, but if they can assemble some kind of efficiency, they want to throw.
That's fair. I will say though, at this point, I will get mad if you don't agree with this. You have to take Jameson Williams over both of them. You have to.
Yes,
you have
I
to.
would. Yeah, I would
Okay,
take Jameson Williams over both of them.
I
Yeah.
was scared you're gonna spread
Gross.
some bullshit like Amari Cooper over.
No,
Jameson
I'm not going to
Williams.
cope that
Okay.
hard, but I will say, if I would take Jameson Williams over them, don't get me wrong. But if 2 weeks from now we're saying, yeah, why were we worried about Amari Cooper or whatever, I wouldn't be shocked either.
Sure, but like at the same time, Jameson Williams has a fucking really valuable role in that team right now.
He does.
And I get it. It's not going to be consistent. The way I view Jameson Williams is like the Tyler Lockett of that Detroit.
Yeah, like 11 targets, so it definitely could be consistent.
Like, but that's like I think like Tyler Lockett-esque is like his fit for the offense. Like being able to stretch the ball, stretch vertically. Obviously, Lockett more of a vertical
Sam
slot.
Laporta's eventually
Jameson
going to do
Williams on the
something,
outside.
right?
Yeah, dude. Like he got like 3 targets this week.
Yeah, he's kind of going to end up being a generational bust otherwise. Devontae Smith in exchange for Worthy and Hollywood before week 1. Yeah, that's crazy that you got Devontae Smith for those guys. Aged like milk in the sun for that guy who traded you him. Gino or Goff for the rest of the season?
I don't think
I'd probably take Goff still, but that is really close.
I have them 13 and 14 right now.
Goff.
I have Goff
Gino
one
is
spot.
Like, if he's gonna sling it like that, dude, like the answer will be Gino. But I would take Goff right as of this moment.
I have Goff one spot higher because I think overall he's got so many dome games. He will have better performances than he did on Sunday. I mean, to be fair, Sunday was a dome game. You guys just kind of fucking shit on him.
Yeah, no, we kind of like actually just shit on them with half of our backup defense.
I mean, I think both Goff or both all of Goff, Gino, and you want to hear the third quarterback? I mean, actually, we can even make that as a case of 4 quarterbacks: Baker, Goff, Gino, and what other quarterback do I think is like the tier of like high-end quarterback? That's the high-end quarterback twos. Those are the.
Oh my god.
Derek Carr is a top 15 quarterback rest of the season, and 15 feels like it's too low because that's how good the Saints offense looks.
I'm not ready for that.
That's why I only have him at 15. For the record, if Derek Carr keeps doing what he's doing, like he's top 10 to 12 at the minimum. It's just the problem is I don't know. Like I'm still cautious. That's why he's 15. But like, if you have to take one right now,
that area of the board has taken major hits. Like when you think about what we thought Caleb was going to be, he's not that right now. What we thought Stafford was going to be, he's not that without his weapons. What we thought Rodgers was going to be, he's not really that at this moment. I still think Lawrence can bounce back. That would be the one guy I would maybe push back on Carr versus Lawrence. Lawrence runs, and the team's got to get better at some point. They're like dead last in pass rate over expected right now. They're going to go to the film room and realize that like Brian Thomas and Christian Kirk and those guys are the best chance they have of winning games.
The problem that I have is I don't think they're a well-coached team at all. I don't.
I don't disagree.
Like I think Doug Peterson is a case to get fired mid-season. Like I think there's a possibility.
I thought Dennis Allen, first coach fired, was like the lock of the century, and turns out it was just.
Well, again, this is not going to happen because obviously if Dennis Allen gets to like the divisional round or later, he's going to keep his job. It'd be outrageous to fire him. But I'm telling you right now, if they get to the divisional round, it will be because of Clint Kubiak, and Clint Kubiak might get the fattest fucking offer you've ever seen from an offense coordinator to a head coach. Like it could be like Shanahan-esque.
I'm not ready to do this yet. You're like Saints are going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm sold. I'm sold on Kubiak, dude. I think he's going to be the next Shanahan. Like honestly,
I'm not sold yet. I'm not sold. Yeah, I'm excited. I've seen what they've done. Well, I'm not excited because I fucking hate the Saints. But
he's turned a top or a bottom 5 projected offense into one that teams are genuinely terrified to play against.
Yeah, like, I mean, I wasn't on bottom 5. I was more like they were going to be like a below average offense.
Fair. But I mean, look at last year, right? Like let's just say with Pete Carmichael. Pete Carmichael OC versus a Kubiak OC, and they got worse at offensive line. That's the difference between a top 5 offense so far in the start of the year to literally a bottom 5 unit last year. Pete
Yeah, no,
Carmichael, and they got worse on O-line.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Carmichael like sucks ass. So I mean, that doesn't totally shock me.
I mean,
Um,
JKD agrees with you. I mean, who knows? I'm reacting. I saw that offense
to me,
firsthand
it's an
yesterday, dude.
overreaction. I can say comfortably that the Saints are a top 15 scoring offense for the rest of the year, but to say that
I
they're
think
like a top 5 to 10 offense to me is a complete overreaction.
I think that's fair. Again, I'm more so saying the upside. If they keep up what they're doing, they can be in the top 5 to 10. I think top 15 is a fair result in case they potentially, fall off a little bit. But dude, like,
It's not that they could fall off. I just think they're not as good as the other offenses that are playing like shit right now.
no, I think that's fair. I mean, I'm not gonna lie though. When I was watching that Saints offense, like it legitimately felt like I was watching the Niners in terms of play sequencing. Like just the way
I
that they're
guess, but like Mike Zimmer
like
also doesn't know how to call a defense.
I mean, see, I disagree. Like, because he's actually typically been good against Shanahan scheme teams historically. He usually has been. It's just, dude,
Yeah.
like Kubiak sequencing in that game, establishing the run off the edge, hitting that play action, the play action in breakers, the play action post shots. Like, dude, like it's just so well sequenced. It's so well sequenced.
I know this comment will annoy you. That's why I put it on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, he's not
You
wrong.
guys, you can't look me in the face though and say that the Cowboys don't just absolutely have the most dominant season stats because they beat the daylights out of the Commanders and the Giants 4 times a year.
I mean, they always have a game in the first 4 weeks of the year. Like, for example, last year was like the Arizona game where like they just like look like they have no clue what the fuck they're doing.
But they also have a game early on in the year where their defense scores 3 touchdowns against the Giants.
There's no. I mean, we play the Giants week 4. I'm pretty sure, so that's probably
I'm
gonna
telling
happen
you
again.
right now, that's literally minimum 4 touchdowns for the Cowboys defense in that game.
Dude, over under the amount of quarters until fucking Malik Neighbors shoots Daniel Jones in the head during the Cowboys game.
Yeah, no, that would be classic.
With a water gun, of course, with a water gun.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I do want to ask or shout this out because somebody mentioned this. We're not going to get to all these questions, unfortunately. We've been generationally yapping. We did get a couple people asking what we thought of Bryce Young getting benched. So we should probably address that. I mean, Bryce Young kind of sucks ass, so it's got to be good news, right, for Deontay Johnson and Jonathan Brooks once he comes back. Like Chuba Hubbard's value probably just went up.
Was it not Chicago 2 years ago? By the way, Adam, we're not doing this asking a question 8 times at the end of the chat there. That's just not how we're flying, buddy. You're not doing that.
We're gonna shut that down.
Yeah, none of that. None of that. Yeah, even Caleb saying, chill, Adam. Yeah, like you just have to ask a question once. That's all we ask. Don't.
Like, I mean, Bryce Young, like, he's so lost. Like, it's not even just that, like, oh, the team's bad. It's like, dude, he's missing open receivers and he's running into pressure.
That's what I was gonna say. Was it the Bears a couple years ago that he literally filled in for Fields for, and they actually like were more functional in offense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and they're gonna be more functional this week too. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, Dalton's the perfect bandage quarterback. Like he's like
dude, I saw somebody tweeted like we all thought Dave Canales' three-peat was to fix Bryce Young. In reality, it was to fix Andy Dalton.
Yeah, literally though.
Because I mean, first of all, like I think it's pretty clear that Baker Mayfield was not fixed by Dave Canales because he's playing better now. But yeah, I think it's kind of funny that this is what had to happen. Like, I mean, even if you're gonna go back to Bryce at some point in time, like he's got to fucking stay on the bench.
You also want to know what ruins the credibility of the Canales as a quarterback whisperer narrative?
What's that?
Because people viewed Geno's breakout year as a product of Canales. But honestly, what we're learning so far this season is that it was more so last year. He was just a victim of Shane Waldron.
Yeah, Shane Waldron just stinks. JKD says Deontay #1 pickup. Yeah, if Deontay Johnson's available on your waiver wire, he's definitely the #1 pickup this week. Because
only in PPR. Only in a PPR.
Only in PPR. Of course. Yeah. I mean, he's the 7 for 60 and 0 touchdown king. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Somebody also mentioned how are we doing in our flock matchups. I need, like I said, I think I said
where's the comment? I'll highlight it.
Yeah. I can't remember, honestly. But anyways, it was 42. I'm up 42 right now against Austin the Dev. And I don't want to have to make a statement like Avery did last week talking about how I lost to a Dev. But Jalen Hurts, Bijan Robinson, and Jake Elliott need to combine for less than 42 points. So I would say there's like probably only a 35-40% chance I win that. But who knows? Maybe Jalen Hurts only doesn't throw a touchdown in this game, doesn't rush for a touchdown. It's all Saquon Barkley, and Bijan doesn't find the end zone or something, and maybe I'm okay. Maybe what's his name misses some field goals too. Jake Elliott.
Yeah, like we're both in quite the sweats right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's like pretty nerve wracking going into Monday Night
Yeah.
Football.
Well, I
Knowing
need
that we're in
14
such
and a half in my home league from Drake London in full PPR with big play bonuses too. So I'm in two different sweats in my 2 leagues that I care the most about.
So that's your sweat. My sweat. So I'm up 48. I have Kyle Pitts against his Saquon Barkley and Darnell Mooney. So again, we're both gonna be
That's not a
sweating pretty
sweat.
hard.
Get out of here.
I mean, you're right. It's not a sweat. I mean, it's a guarantee to happen against me. I just want to pre-congratulate Padaki on the great comeback victory tonight.
Reverse jinxing a win already. Cody says, "Tell me how fair it is this trade. Kyron Williams, Tony Pollard, Jaden Reed, Kincaid for CD Swift, Laporta, Tajay Spears. Okay, so this is
Laporta over
very
Kincaid.
easily the CD side of this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't need to see the rest.
Sam is worth Kyron, Reed, and Pollard together.
Yeah,
probably.
Kyron's the headliner. Hell no.
And Laporta is worth more than Kincaid. So yeah, this is. I mean, Swift and Spears are like you could drop them after this trade, and they would still probably be CD and Laporta.
Why are you guys just swapping the Titans running backs?
Yeah, that's funny as hell. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, a lot of people ask about Garrett Wilson too. Don't worry, we will cover Garrett Wilson on the trade targets video because am I worried for Garrett Wilson? No, I'm not. I'm worried that he might not have the year 3 breakout and be better than Justin Jefferson, like I said he was going to. But am I worried he's not going to be a wide receiver 1 this year? No, I still think he's going to bounce back and he's going to be easily one of the biggest trade targets in fantasy.
Yes, sir. I mean, you guys will see all of that on Wednesday as well because like I'm already licking my chops at some of these.
There's some this might targets. Be. I might go out on a limb here and say that this trade targets video might be the most important one all season because I think that there's 2 or 3, especially at wide receiver, that I'm like, dude, these guys are gonna be much better than they've put up on the field so far.
What about 96% route rate Rome Odunze, who's probably being traded as a wide receiver 7 on a lot of people's teams right now?
That's a good point.
96% route rate.
Tank Dell can't catch a cold right now, and he's probably going for a buttermilk biscuit in most people's leagues. Garrett Wilson has a 30% target share and 44% of the team's air yards right now, and people are viewing him as like the wide receiver 3 on a wide receiver 3 in fantasy.
I have to show you guys this too because I saw. Actually, I probably shouldn't show it out loud. I'll just explain it because technically it is in the Reception Perception Discord, but I'll explain it to you guys because, yeah, again, it is a private Discord. I don't want to be doing some funky business sharing my screen like that. So, but Matt Harmon basically charted Rome Odunze yesterday, and he said that yesterday, the last 2 weeks. And when you're actually looking at like his win rates against all the coverages, he said like he's legitimately putting out great film. It's just the offense is so dysfunctional right now that it hasn't mattered.
Yeah, but like I hate to tell you this though, like it might not matter the whole season.
It very well couldn't, but let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Okay.
Anyways, the game is actually about to start here, so
I'll just say this one thing.
I'm literally starving, and I'm gonna make a steak after this.
I'll just say one single thing: 71.9% success rate versus man, 72.2 against zone, 80.0 against press so far. For Rome Odunze in the first 2 games, and one of those games he played with a literal fucking sprain in his knee.
Okay, so
the guy's separating.
They should literally fire Waldron already.
They should, yeah.
He should literally be fired today.
Yeah, the way their offense is looking, it looks like nobody's winning on their routes, but apparently everybody is. It's just the scheme is so bad.
Yeah. This is. Anyways, what's the scoreboard with bets? We did get
what is it? Because like, what was the week 1, bro? I'm actually fucking fuming that we like lost that.
Okay, week 1 we might have to throw because I don't remember. So Christian Kirk versus Keon Coleman. I won that
0.1 to 0,
which is hilarious. James Conner versus Jordan Mason. Who won that one? I think Connor won that.
Did we do half PPR or full PPR?
If we don't specify, it's usually full.
Okay. Let me check. Connor had 19.4. I think he had more. I think he had more than Mason.
I think
Mason also had a really good game.
Yeah. Mason, Dobbins, you beat me on both Charbonnet and Cooper with Dobbins.
So 2-2.
You had Xavier Worthy versus Zay Flowers. Was that that?
Yeah, you crunched me then. 3-2.
Yeah, I crushed you there because Flowers had a monster game.
And Worthy was useless.
And then Dowdle versus Spears. Dowdle won that.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones versus Jamison Williams. I believe Aaron Jones won that. And I took Aaron Jones, I think.
I don't know, bro. They probably had like the same amount of points.
Kirk versus Cooks. I'm assuming Cooks won that.
Aaron Jones had 9.8 because he fumbled. Jameson had
Oh, he only had 9.8. Why did I think he had like 15 points? JMO probably won that.
JMO won that. JMO won that.
Okay, so then officially,
and what was the last one you said?
Cooks over Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Cooks barely won.
I don't know why it's two Christian Kirk
yards. Yeah, I got lucky there.
1, 2, 3, 4 for you, 5 for you. Sorry, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4 for me. So you won 5-4 last week.
Not bad. We do get this question. J Dollar$, time to panic on Tank Dell? Absolutely not. In fact, it's time to do the opposite. It's time to go buy Tank Dell.
Yeah, it's time to go buy Tank Dell. Like, he's gonna be just fine. I wouldn't be worried about him. But anyways, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned tomorrow. We're gonna have waivers as well as some rest of season rankings, risers and fallers, and of course our rest of season rankings will be fully updated on the site tomorrow. So make sure to check out Flock Fantasy, link down below in the description. Our Flock League vlog will be live tomorrow around noon, 1 o'clock as well. So definitely check that out.
Don't worry, I'll be dropping some highlights in there after the game tonight once things are official. Because
yeah, hopefully I have a nice little sweat here so that I can get some get a win this week and start the season 2-0.
You know what's great, by the way? It's either going to be generational either way for me, because either Badaki makes the greatest comeback I've ever lifetime, and I have to react to that in a negative fashion, or I can come to my promise that I am the CEO of Fantasyland, and Mason can start making the merch on the t-shirts.
True. That's fair. That is fair. Anyways, good luck to everyone. Hopefully you get your miracles. We need 14.5 for Drake London. We need less than 42 combined for Bijan Robinson, Jalen Hurts, and Jake Elliott. Good luck to all of you guys in your matchups. Hopefully everyone stays alive on Monday Night Football tonight too.